Hello and welcome back to another insightful edition of WBC News, where we uncover the evolving landscape of politics, law, and especially today, the healthcare innovation. I'm Shad Reynoso.
And I'm Irene K. Villaruz. Now, we bring you a closer look into how nurses are stepping up in this digital age, especially with technology playing a major role in how we care for patients.
That's right, Irene. A video recently made rounds on social media showing how nurses are using high-tech tools, particularly the hospital information system, to efficiently manage patient data. And naturally, that got us curious.
Yes, so we went straight to the source. Today, we're spotlighting Riverside Medical Hospital in Bacolod City, where the integration of tech and care is making waves, particularly in their non-invasive cardiovascular imaging services. We're joined by one of their nurses to share what this transformation looks like from the front lines.
We're here now live with Miss Renzi. So, Miss Renzi, it's great to have you here today, and thank you for making time for this interview. So, to start, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Sounds great. So thank you for joining us. Let's start with something simple, like introducing yourself. So your name, which nursing school you attended, when you graduated, and when you passed the board exam.
Okay, so my full name, I'm Renee Lauren S. Winaobra. You can call me Renzi. I earned my bachelor's degree in nursing back in year 2023 here in Riverside College. And at that same year, I was able to pass my licensure exam and I got my first job still at the same year. So I was able to work as a cardiovascular nurse at Riverside Medical Center, and until now, I'm still employed.
So wonderful. So thank you for that. So you mentioned that you work at Riverside Medical Center. That's right. So how long have you been working there?
Okay, so I've been working as a cardiovascular nurse in Riverside for about a year now, over a year. So specifically around 1 year and 4 months, that long.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of experience. So, can you further explain what you exactly do?
Okay, so as a cardiovascular nurse, it is our role to assist doctors in cardiovascular imaging procedures such as your echocardiography. We also do procedures such as electrocardiography or ECGs. So when you come across with one of the staff in the station who are doing your ECGs, they are the ones that do that certain procedure. Aside from that, we also do have vascular studies, and aside from that, we also do OB-GYN procedures, which is quite very distant from what we do, but because of that, we are able to widen our scope.
Okay, that sounds like a very important role. Now, can we get a little bit personal? What inspired you to become a nurse in the first place?
So personally, it's my mother. She's also a nurse. And eventually, I was able to get a glimpse of how noble this profession is. So that's why I'm here.
So thank you for sharing that, Ms. Renzi. You know, it's always so inspiring to hear that the heart behind all the scrubs and all those things.
Okay, now let's talk about technology or tech. So, when the Hospital Information System, or the HIS, was first introduced to your hospital, how did that transition go for you? Was it hard, or did it have a smooth transition?
So personally, when I entered Riverside Medical Center, I was then acquainted with our health information system, which was previously our BizBox hospital information system. But right now, we are undergoing a transition this week actually to a new hospital information system, which is namely IQVIA. So with that, as a person who is involved with technology most of all of her time in the hospital, it's quite something new, but you have to be able to cope with it.
Okay, that sounds like a real journey. Adapting to tech especially takes patience.
Like about the new system that you mentioned. So how long have you been working with that system already? So from this box to the
IQVIA.
IQVIA. Okay, so how long?
For BizBox, since the time I've entered in Riverside, 1 year and a half almost. But for IQVIA, since it just started this week, so for a few days, but eventually we'll get with the system.
Okay, thank you. That gives us students an idea of how much hands-on experience you have with the system.
And it's good to know like you're very adaptable from BizBox and then transitioning into that. Okay. So like how about the old and the new? Like, I
Okay,
think we can
now,
ask.
if you compare the old hospital information system to the new one, what's the biggest difference that you've noticed?
Okay, so for BizBox, mostly it's an hospital information system, in which case the different departments can be able to communicate with one another. That's the scope of BizBox. However, if it is IQVIA, it has more additional services to its software. So for instance, not only is it a hospital information system, but it also has its own electronic medical record. So for specifically our doctors, our nurses, and those who are involved in the healthcare team can be able to access it without needing to go to the station. So that's
Yeah.
quite a feature for
Yeah.
information system.
Okay. We love that feature, and especially just making your lives or like your work easier in the hospital. Okay.
So, what do you think makes the new system stand out the most?
Okay, so the new IQB has 5 features actually. So aside from being an information system, we also have our patient portal. So our patient portal allows our patients to access their, for instance, our procedures, their laboratories. They can access their results online without needing to go to the hospital. So that's quite a feature for that. Another is, of course, our electronic health record. So in which case the patient, or rather the physicians, can be able to access it anywhere they are in the world, the country. So with that, they can have easy access to it. Another is for specified departments such as ours, since we are involved in the cardiovascular imaging sciences. So the features or the interface of the software focuses more on making results like layouts and the structure of the templates for our results. And like that. Those are the features of the new information.
Okay, thank you for that lovely input. So, I would like to ask if there's one feature that you personally love the most, what would it be and why?
Okay, so personally, it would be the electronic medical record because our work involves having to double check the physician's orders. So, for instance, if 2D echo was ordered for a certain patient, our usual routine would be to go to the station first before we go to the patient. So we would double check. We have to skim through the charts. But since the the electronic health record is now available online through our software, we can be able to look upon it and check for it, and then just go directly to the patient without
Okay.
needing to go to the station.
Wow, that sounds really good upgrade, especially you have gone from traditional to very
Yes.
modern. Okay. Now let's talk about benefits. How has the current HIS or hospital information system helped you, not just you rather, but your co-nurses and doctors?
Okay, for nurses, for my co-nurses who are working currently in the station, they are the ones who can highly benefit from this new information system. Although it's still new, we have to go through a lot of transition, but considering its features, it could be a better way for them to communicate with other departments, such as ours, and also to physicians without needing to go contact them or to go there physically.
Thank you.
Okay, so like, okay, those are good things, all the benefits, all the bright side, but then let's have to face the reality. There are also
Yes.
some stuff like we don't like about it, or maybe some disadvantage or flaws, or like stuff that we need to
Yes.
work on. So what are those stuff that we need to work on?
Aside from the transition. But I guess one thing is because since it's electronic, it's cloud-based actually. So when you say cloud-based, it's online. So there are instances when, for instance, there are times that the system bogs down or crashes. So services slightly progress less or like slows down. So because of that, we have to be adaptable. So we have to always have a plan B in terms of of course, providing services to our patients and making sure that we won't be affected by any of those.
Okay, now for my next question rather, if you had the chance to suggest a change or an upgrade at the system, what do you suggest?
So I can't fully say what would I prefer to change for our information system since it's new, but I would very likely to try to make sure to use or like let's say be able to explore its features more. So I guess I can't say much, but I think there's more room for improvement for this information system. So let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, so we totally love that idea, and we feel like every feedback, especially from the nurses who works there, is very important into upgrading the current feature or the current system that you're working on.
Yes.
Okay, now for my last question, and to end on a forward-looking note, what is your message to future nurses, especially us right now as students, especially now that technology and healthcare are becoming more and more connected?
Okay, so being amongst one of the generations that are now tech savvy, so you have an advantage in terms of situations like these. As a nurse, you're not only responsible for the patient's welfare, but you're also considered very important for flows in the hospital like that, since hospital cannot function without a nurse. So it's very much your responsibility to adapt and to cope with what is changing in our society and of course in the hospital.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
so overall, I really love the word maybe adaptable to cope with the change. So thank you so much, Miss Randy, for that inspiring message. It's
Thank you.
we had a great pleasure to do this interview together with you.
It's my
Yeah.
pleasure as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, and right now, back to you.
Thank you again to our interviewer, and especially to Ms. Renzi, for sharing such a grounded and eye-opening perspective on how technology reshapes nursing care at Riverside Medical Hospital.
That's right. From imaging services to real-time patient updates, it's clear that the future of healthcare is already here and it's in good hands.
We'll continue bringing stories like this to life as we navigate an ever-evolving digital society. And who knows, you might be next in the spotlight.
Thanks for tuning in. Catch us again at 11:59 p.m. for more from WBC News.